The Flatza.
All right, we are recording. Hey,
Yeah, this is live, yeah.
So check this out. My name is Beautiful Bobby Thomas. I'm here hosting the second episode, third episode, fourth episode. What does not matter? I don't give a shit right now. Kind of buzzed.
Yeah, me too.
This is Weed Ones, where we pummel you with questions while I get you progressively more stoned off of increasingly more potent pot. I have my good friend and fellow band member for many years, Chris Finster. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thanks, bud. Yeah, feeling pretty good, man.
Excellent, man.
I'm not really much of a ripper, but I'm here to test it out, so let's go.
Man, motherfucker.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
So we just, we didn't, but, uh-oh, buddy, did you puke? Yeah, you did. Oh, boy.
Yeah, we got him too pumped up.
All right, so what is your take on the future of the music industry when it comes to record labels and established companies who are looking for new talent?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, I just know what I see. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I mean, right now, you know, I'm a little older. You know, I've watched the whole entire record industry grow up really and get insanely large. You know, to where everything was just like if you weren't one of the like 15 bands in your genre, then you were waiting to be discovered.
Right.
And now it's like everybody has a conduit and an avenue of travel to be discovered. So it comes down to how good is your product and how strong is your work ethic. Because the power is now in the people's hands, but you have to have the product and the work levels to do it.
Absolutely. There's a guy that I actually listened to on, he's a YouTube sensation or whatever you want to call it, Jared Dines. Pretty sure you've heard of him. He actually just recently put out a 7 things that you need to know if you want to try and make it into the industry. And the music industry is a lot more demanding nowadays for new talent, new stuff that's going to provide something that not everybody else is doing. And that's the one thing that I see that everybody is starting. I'm not trying to knock any bands out there or anything by any means, but when it comes down to it, I see that a lot of people are fans of the music that they listen to, and they're trying to reproduce that, which is cool. But when you have 5 bands that sound like All That Remains, I mean, no offense, All That Remains is going to be doing better. Well, hey. Than the rest of these cookie cutters. I hate to say, I'm not calling everybody cookie cutters, but
You sure you don't want to tape this?
Say what now?
You sure you don't want to tape this? Oh, is it because you?
Yeah, my notes are right here.
Oh, that's all right. We'll do an audio one. Well, okay, I can answer that. Albeit a long question. What was the question exactly again? Sorry.
The question is that
Like,
how do guys like Jared Dines have these equations or these questions that people need to ask themselves in order to further their career? And there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't realize. One thing, not being an asshole. Back in the day in the 80s and 90s, it was about being an asshole. And nowadays, if you're an asshole, nobody wants to work with you. So first off, let's go right there. What do you think about assholes in the industry?
Well, okay, if you want to ask that specific question. If you're the type of asshole that people are intrigued by, you're going to be successful as long as you have some kind of redeeming characteristic. You could be a dick, but if your followers that you garner, you're a dick to them, that's a problem.
You're going to lose everybody at that point.
Well, yeah, you just have to be smart about it. Like, right. Everybody needs to have something unique, and they need to have their own thing. And whatever that thing may be, it could be anything. I mean, it could be
a gimmick.
It could be a gimmick. It could be just you being yourself, and that's unique. It could be some kind of stage thing that is like nothing else. But the thing is I think the most important center of your question to answer is that there's a billion things out there now, and everybody has access to it all the time.
Yep.
So when you talk about the idea that somebody's going to get into what you're doing as a creator, there's going to be a lot of people that don't like it, and they'll tune out. But there might be, maybe to start off, 100 people that do. And those 100 people will tell another 100 people, and they maybe 25% of those people will like it too. And then if you really have a good product that stays consistent, and your branding stays consistent, if your style stays consistent,
well put,
then you can maybe make a thing out of it. But really the bottom line of all that is just be yourself. Don't be bullshit. Don't be fake. Don't be contrived. If you're gonna do a format, that's fine. That's a format. It's like verse, chorus, end. Okay, that's fine.
Right.
But put yourself in those confines and rock it.
Absolutely.
That's the best I could say about that.
I got another question for you right here. What is one of your most valued accomplishments you've made happen in your career as a sound engineer?
Well, all of my work has been underground or for small bands because I never really put myself in the limelight. But I mean, I have 2 silver records. You know, they're not gold, but they're silver
Fucking,
in the punk genre.
that's amazing.
I have over 24 million plays on YouTube with the mixes I've done.
Damn.
So I've done that.
That's something to be said right there, brother. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, it just is what it is. You know, if you stick with something and you're really excited about it, you get better at it because you care.
Right.
And then if you care, people are going to notice, and then you're going to get better work. And eventually your work will kind of go up with the scaling. I think the whole thing's about scaling. If you care, you're going to get better at your craft. I'm not an audio genius by any means. I mean, I am a virtuosic musician, but as an audio worker and engineer, that I am not born to do that. I just really love it. So I've been in this thing for like 18 years, and it's been really, really fun. I still am very passionate about it every day. And when I get new acts, you know, I tinker around and I study all the time, and I use those new techniques on these new bands, and I'm getting some success with it, and it's been pretty great.
It's been really amazing to see how many pies you've had your fingers in over the years, and where it's really starting to pay off for you, not only in your current Bridge City sessions, but just you as a name, as an established name here in Portland.
Sure.
Everybody knows who you are, and you have built that name from the ground up.
Yeah.
You didn't just
I also leveled it like a couple times too. Like, you know, I mean, I'm just. I'm kind of a wild guy. Like, I mean, really, it's like I'm not really going to do anything too crazy, but I like to drink. I used to like to drug like 10 years ago. I'm not really a weed guy, so this probably isn't my show, but I love you, so I'm here. And also, I just set up your audio stuff, so I'm definitely
well, brother,
here.
I love you too. And I mean,
But
we're doing alcohol tonight, so you know.
yeah, drinking that fine brokers.
Ooh, baby, we got some
But,
brokers going on. I'm gonna take a swig off that.
Actually, let me get next, then I'll finish the answer. But
Oh, buddy.
But the long short of it is the reason I'm a figure that's remembered is because I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else. My life doesn't really make sense unless I'm doing music. So that's what I keep doing, and I'm passionate about it. So I stop. I don't want to be an accountant. I want to be a musician, or I want to be an engineer that's for musicians because I love music. So that kind of enables the idea of craft, and that craft has been going on for about 16, 17 years now. So that kind of brought me to the end of your question.
That's a huge passion for yours, and the passion you can see really reflects not only in your music but your sincerity and how much effort you put into a lot of bands that per se maybe are not ready to hit the studio or they don't understand certain things. And a lot of guys, you know, they tend to get mad at their producers or their engineers when they don't realize, well, shit, I didn't have everything put together. And I feel, at least in my experience with you, is that you provide not only a service in the engineering field, but to actually educate people on what needs to happen before you come in to the studio. And that goes with anything.
Well, I think the biggest thing about, and it's an age thing. I mean, so when I started in 2004, you know, the studio was still a mystical place because the internet wasn't really big yet. People didn't really go on the internet much in my age group because I started that when I was 25.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't, in my age group, it wasn't really a big thing, but my age group was the age group that was the poppin' stuff in Portland.
Right.
So, you know, with that being said, now, I mean, the musicians are much more savvy, dude. I mean, we just watched, what is it called? Buried
Alive
Buried
and
Alive.
Rings of Saturn, yes.
The musicians are more savvy. Like, you know, when we learned on a 4-track, maybe at best.
Right.
Most of us didn't learn on a click. We just played in bands in a garage or a basement or whatever.
We didn't have all those tools back in the day.
We did not have the tools.
Right.
And honestly, we didn't have the way to compare ourselves to many others. Now that these younger generations have this, I mean, you can see the results. I mean, you have people that I have people that walk into my studio that are 20 years old that, fuck, man, they could probably outmix me, and it's like, Jesus, and they're in their prime, and
Right.
it's honestly, I don't care what anybody says. I am so pumped about that because when I was cutting my teeth, I got discouraged by the fact that so little people knew what I was learning about the basics about how to record properly.
Right.
And that's not about the craft of engineering. It's about the craft of being an artist in the studio.
Right. So how does that equate to guys like Bob Rock, for example,
I mean, I really think guys like Bob Rock probably grew up around it.
or Andy Sneap?
Grew up around it,
So, despite the new talent that's coming out right now,
Yeah.
how are these guys still relevant?
Well, I really think it comes back to what I said earlier about giving a shit about your craft and being passionate about it.
Right.
I mean, it's the 10,000 hour rule, dude. I mean, if you sit there for 10,000 hours, you're going to be a master at it. But if you sit there for 20,000, you're going to be fucking crazy.
You gotta know your shit.
You're going to be pretty sick.
Absolutely.
Even if you weren't born to do it, you're going to be pretty good at it. And I really think that's why those people are still relevant. I also think it's because, just like I said, they're stoked about it.
Right.
They're probably getting better bands, too. That helps a lot. Good bands helps good craft.
So, if you could choose one project out of all the opportunities you've experienced in life, which would you choose and why would you do it?
Gosh, that's a great question. Right off the top, I mean, the number one band I would choose to re-record is that
That's basically
to make
the
another
stuff
record
that you've
for.
worked with. Everything from
What was my
Amongst
favorite
Us
project
to
or to
Gruda's
re-record?
Mission or Banditism.
Are you talking about my own project?
Yes, we're talking about you. If you could choose one project out of all the opportunities, maybe not just music.
Oh, to like have make it or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you had one opportunity that you could have
It would just be my solo stuff.
solo stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Amongst Us was incredible, but it was mostly driven by the giant of the band, which is the drummer, rest in peace, Chad
Fucking
Sellers.
Chad, dude.
Rest in
Yeah,
peace to
rest
that
in
man.
peace, man.
But he was
Absolutely.
really the giant of that band. I was just servicing that man. So and
You
I'm
guys
not-
were a
and
fucking conglomerate.
I
of
was
fucking amazing.
totally happy to do that job. But so
And
dude,
we have entrance from
Mark coming back from the park.
Mark coming back from the park. Hell yeah, dude.
So I got another question for you.
I'm gonna finish the answer.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
can't.
sorry. He kind of threw me off. Sorry,
You're okay.
my bad.
You're okay. So my answer to that though would just be my solo stuff. I've never really pushed my solo stuff because I didn't really want to do my solo stuff for anybody else but me. And honestly, and that's okay. 'Cause,
That's amazing, actually.
yeah, I was dating myself, and it was a great relationship. I don't.
Hey, when you can actually become very secure with what you're doing in your own life without anybody else, that's an amazing feat, right there.
Yeah, it was singular dating.
Singular.
But it was fine, and it still is fine. I didn't do it for anybody else but me. But that would be my choice because it wasn't really influenced by anybody but me, and
Well, what's really crazy is about a lot of the things
kinda
that
what I liked.
you've brought to
Still like.
the plate with your solo projects has been amazing. Your ability to not only create music is unequivocal. Is that the right word? Unequivocal?
unequivocally.
Hands down, some of the best I've heard in town.
Oh, thanks.
And what's crazy is you're not just secluded to one genre.
No.
You mess around with all sorts of shit because you got a wide palette as a musician
Yeah.
where you can really express your stuff. And some of the stuff I've heard come from you, Chris, is absolutely fucking phenomenal.
Oh, thank you, man. I
And it
appreciate
blows
that.
my mind that,
Oh, you can hang out all day, man. What's going on, Bob?
what's up, baby?
You can hang out all day, Bob. What's going on?
But when it comes down to it, man, I mean, there's a lot of guys in town, even guys like, what's his name from Keith, what's his name? Keith
You have to mean Marrow. You
Merrill.
have to mean Marrow, yeah.
So he's one of the other guys that I've noticed that has really expanded upon his career.
Yeah.
But he's pretty much stayed in the same kind of genre, so to speak.
Well, Keith Keith's a funny guy because what he does is he looks at other artists and kind of he's like a master assimilator. He can basically look at another art form musically
Right.
and make it his, and then you would never know that he was influenced by it. Like,
Wow.
it's really, really creative what he does, and it's extremely talented. Like,
So he has the
I have
ability to
nothing but
absorb.
respect for that man.
So he has the ability to absorb, but at the same time, when he absorbs and becomes influenced, he has a way of reproducing.
He'll make it his own.
Exactly,
Yeah.
making it his own.
And it's like I had noticed it like on some other recordings previously, but he made a post like a few months back and he kind of explained it, and I was like, totally, dude, no shit, good
Right.
job. Like, yeah, but basically, my hat's off to Keith. He's a great dude, and I have nothing but respect for the guy.
I've met him a handful of times, and I hope to meet him again in the future. And he's one of those type of guys that he's a phenomenal musician. He's got a lot of qualities that he brings to the table, and his
He's
gift,
a savvy and shrewd businessman too.
and his gift is taking him to where he's currently at.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? And he runs with it
yeah, oh yeah,
effortlessly.
He does a good job, man.
at this point. It seems like.
Yeah,
you know?
I have nothing but respect for Keith. Love you, buddy.
Fine. Keith,
Yeah, solid.
what got you to this point in your career? Was it the sheer dedication and determination to pursue a dream? Was it fate? Something you happened to walk across?
Well, when I was younger, it was me just drifting and doing what I did, and it took me wherever I wanted to go. I mean, it was like a superpower when I was young. I was really good looking. I had long hair. I could do whatever really I wanted, and I could play music to get myself into anywhere I wanted to go.
Big sexy.
Yeah, big sexy. I went big sexy like all the way like through like my mid-30s, really. And but I really didn't have a direction. I just wanted to have a good time.
Right.
And motherfucker, I did.
Oh man,
I mean, I got myself into some dumb shit too, but nothing.
that comes
too,
with the territory.
Nothing
Both
too,
of us.
Nothing too bad. But I had a good time, man. And, like when the eyes almost blank out, I'll look back and it was pretty good. But at this point, what got me to where I'm at now? At this point, when the looks go away and the craft starts to be more of a passion, it's more just about like I'm trying to actually, I mean, truthfully as fuck, dude. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not forgotten.
That was one of the most beautiful things I've heard in a long time.
Thanks. It's true.
Relevance in this world is huge to me.
Well, it's huge to everybody. You'll notice.
Absolutely.
Even young people, they're like, "Man, how do I rate my significance?" And what's fucked up is, if you have none, people feel down about that with the internet age, and that sucks. But it gets everybody, man. As the population grows and the information shared, you look at your place in the fold, and it's like. And if you know that you're not going to be a person of remembrance, most of those people usually gravitate towards making a family. And they fall into the American dream.
Hence, children,
Yeah,
the next generation.
Yeah, all
the
this
above.
stuff. And
Right.
honestly, for those people, hats off, because it's not really me, but I see the work in it and also the rewards for it, and I respect that. It's just not really
Great
for me.
answer,
It's
dude.
not really for me.
Right.
So I'm kind of doing this.
Well, just off of what you've already done in your life, and just from what I've seen, and I'm not trying to put you in your grave tomorrow, but if you were gone tomorrow, you're one of those guys I'll never forget, and I'll still speak your name to anybody and everybody. Like, there was a guy I knew. If you would have known this guy knew his shit. He
Thanks,
spent
man.
a lot of his life pursuing a dream, and he's helped a lot of other people achieve their dreams, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Try, yeah. Well, thank you very much, man. That's very flattering. For me, I just every single I feel sometimes like a half-rate doctor.
That makes sense. And a
To where
psychiatrist at the same
I'm not
time.
qualified to do this, but I kind of know what I'm doing, and I know you can't afford anybody else.
Ain't that the freaking truth?
Yeah,
you know?
so I'm kind of that guy, Fuck.
So I want to bring it back to the reason why this show, Weed Ones, has really, even came to fruition is I know you turned me onto the show called Hot Ones,
Yes,
which
it's a great
is I'm a huge fan of, and
Yeah.
it took off, and
Yeah,
you could
hugely.
throw down some serious spice. I know you can. I've watched you eat some fucking hot ass
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That blows my freaking mind.
Yeah, it blows my asshole.
If you it burns slides.
Yeah. Like the front is not as bad as the back. Jesus.
If you could interview anyone over some hot wings, who would be your choice, and could they hang with you?
Oh shit. Okay, that's a pretty good question. Who would I interview over hot wings and could they hang? Well, let's take step one of that question. Who would I interview? Honestly, I think I would interview my brother Marley. Because I don't really know him that well.
I've never heard about
I'm
him.
adopted, so I only just met that family in Oklahoma. When I turned 40, I'm 42 now,
Congratulations.
and I didn't have much time to hang out with him.
Right.
So that was pretty cool to meet that guy. So I'd interview him honestly because it's my actual brother.
Right,
Because
yeah.
I love my brother Robert, who's my adopted family, but that's intriguing as hell, especially at this stage in life to meet that person.
Could he hang with you on the hot wings?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if he eats hot food, so I can't really answer that part of it. But that would be my first part answer. Yeah,
Because
Marley.
I'm telling you right now, I've watched you put down spice.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes me go like, holy shit. How does this guy do this shit? I get half the spice that this guy does, and I'm crying. It's like it's streaming. Like somebody
I'm
really.
crying too, but it's just something. I really am not into like what's that sexual thing where you feel pain and you like it?
It kind of falls into the
SDM or something
It kind
like
of goes
that.
into the BDSM.
Is that that?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not really into that or anything.
Right,
or
right.
like pain pleasure. I just like spicy food.
It's something that just does it for you.
Well, what it is that I feel an endorphin rush.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't do drugs anymore, so anything that gets me close to that, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I like this. Can we
Like-
do it again, please?
Yeah. And the hangover is only in my butthole, so I can deal with that.
So nice it burns twice.
Yeah, pretty. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. Got him.
So throughout the years, you've worked with a lot of individuals in town. Is there been anything that made you possibly want to give up and quit what you're
my
currently
gosh.
doing?
Oh my gosh, I want to quit all the time. I mean, really, what I want to do though is, I constantly want to quit because it's like the tier that I'm in, really, essentially, is still kind of like the low tier.
Right.
And so, like, well, I'm going to say this as pre-Bridge City, okay? So, like, 2016 and before,
Right.
I like my craft got pretty solid because I got trained at Falcon pretty well.
Yeah, you did.
And I already knew decent stuff from Geoman.
I was going to say Giamano, man. That's where I recorded with you back in the day.
So I was decent, and then I got smarter with Dennis Carter at Falcon, and so that was great. But then I just got this batch of bands that really just didn't know that much about how to produce things, how I wanted to envision their art. So that became a real struggle. So yeah, I definitely wanted to quit then. That sucked. And at that point, I got fucked up on drugs and screwed up a bunch of accounts, and it happened to be those accounts. Imagine that.
Ouch.
And then yeah, it was a whole downturn of fucking events because I was basically just a big coward and didn't want to face the truth. And then the internet destroyed me with it was like Julius Caesar, like how like the council like knifed him like with multiple knives. That was me. And honestly, my rebirth from that with Bridge City has been like amazing. Like I had to almost die to like get my life back, and now it's like to answer that question now, there's no answer for it because everything's pretty good.
That's excellent, man.
Yeah.
And you can really see it in what you guys are doing over at Bridge City. It's amazing, the platform that you guys created,
Yeah,
the talent that you guys had coming through.
pretty good.
And immediately, obviously, this was getting out to other people because I have seen multiple bands
Yeah.
and talent come through from not just Oregon, but from all around. So now, elaborate on me.
We get them from all over the world.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
so give me some of the places that you've seen some of the people come through, or this talent that you didn't expect it to come through.
I mean,
If
you ask me to recite band names, I am fucked.
Fuck the
but
band
I'll tell you the
names.
regions. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank God. Dude, I'm not good with names.
Neither am I,
But the
dude.
regions I remember.
What's your name, bro?
Yeah, dude, and it'll be like after talking to them for like 20 minutes. And what was your name again? And they'll look at you like, you suck, and I'm like, I do, but tell me your name.
At the same time, you've
And
also
I'll
met.
forget it again.
You've met
It's terrible.
tens of thousands of people in your life.
Yeah, well, everybody has. It's whatever. But I mean,
some more than others.
Some more than others. That's definitely true. So regions, right? Okay, so Australia,
Wow.
that's one of them. The UK, obviously, Germany.
And they specifically came over to Bridge City.
Well, no. The thing is we are a destination now on a tour path.
Oh, okay. So you're on tour.
No, they're not destinationing us like hard.
Right.
They're on a tour.
Gotcha.
And they know that we're a media hub, so they're like, "Oh, we should stop in there.
Right.
We should do some videos. That'd be great for what we're doing."
Right.
And the fact that they honor us in that way, that they think we're worthy to capture their music in the right way on videos, is so amazing.
That's amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I treat every single band the same way. It has to be as good as I can possibly make it. I mean,
You're a product. You really are.
The reason my hair is half gray is because I care about it, man. Like,
I know you
it
do.
has to be good. And some bands, they do the best they can because it's not easy under the cameras. It's not easy under the lights. And so I try to do extra good for them just so that they really are represented well. What I want is a homogenous. I don't want to say homogenous because people actually think that's a no word. I want to say I want my level of work that's portrayed per band to be pretty consistent. And I think I'm
great answer.
doing that so far.
Absolutely. That's fucking hey.
Yeah.
You can see it in your work. You can see it in the people that are following Bridge City and that are currently now following these new bands
Yeah.
that a lot of people didn't know about until they came to Bridge City.
I mean, it was weird. Before I started Bridge, like my own personal notifications for any social media platform would be like 5 or something like that.
Right.
Now every time I wake up, there's like 99.
Shit.
And I can't even read them all. And honestly, I miss a lot of personal stuff actually now because it's just all filled up. But I shouldn't complain, and I'm not.
I got a good question for you, and I've had my time on the road, and one of the things I've learned about being on the road is that when you're at home, you want to be on tour. When you're on tour, guess what? You want to be back home.
I know. There's just no fucking winning that thing, is there?
No, there is not. And what are, let's say, 3 of your favorite things that you enjoy about being on tour, and what's 3 of your favorite or worst things that you hate about tour?
Okay, I'll address the first part.
Okay.
So what I love is the build-up before it happens. I love all the anticipation and the excitement. Like, it's happening.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna, and in my mind, I equivalent it to, or I make it equivalent to a vacation before it starts. So I'm about to get on the second
Ain't
half.
that the fucking
Yeah.
truth? Holy shit.
Number 2, I really like the early energy because everybody else has about the same energy about this thing.
Right.
Maybe some people are like they're gonna get homesick of fear, or maybe there's some stuff they left behind untied. But most people, they're pretty excited to be doing it. And number 3, just having my hand out the window like a dumbass and just doing swooshies like swoosh, swoosh.
Yeah,
I really
do that
love
all the
that. I
time.
really love that. So those are the 3 top. Cool.
That's nostalgic right there.
Yeah, just the swooshies. You got to do the hand out the window, swooshy, swoosh.
Rolling.
Yeah, rolling. That's right. That's a good song to listen to for that. I'll do that in the future. I haven't done that yet. But okay, so the back 3, the negative 3.
That's a tough one right there. At least
It's
for me.
not. It's super easy for me to categorize
Go
this.
for it.
Being just absolutely filthy and not being able to clean up. And then being around 4 other people, or maybe 3, that are the same way. That is balls.
Some are worse than others,
Yeah,
too.
yes, that is true. I'm not really a clean freak, but buddy, oh man. And then number 2, if it's hot, oh no. I do, bitch. I do not want to be hot.
Death. I hate it.
Dude, I don't want to be hot.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like hella hot for like a long time. That shit sucks.
It makes me sick.
You know, people would be like, get some AC, bro. What the fuck, man? Roll your window down. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you actually park somewhere and it's time to do the show, but there's 4 hours to go to showtime. There's no money in the bank to go spend at a casino or go eat some dinner or be like cool. You just have to walk around or be bored in your van.
Yep.
And hot. I hate that shit.
You're stuck.
I don't like being hot. Yeah. So that's number 2. Number 3 is when people get under duress about the situation at hand in a tour and then they go passive aggressive and get under your skin. That can be deadly.
Absolutely.
And that happens a lot.
That'll make or break bands.
It can.
Period.
And for me, I've been through that on the receiving and the giving side. And I know that really just remember this, guys. It's temporary. Everything will get back to normal once you get back. And the hardest thing that I've never been able to understand because I've never been out for that long, how do you deal with that when you're out for a year? How do you deal with that when you're out for 6 months? I mean, in the comments, tell me how, because I don't know how you guys do it. Or girls, whatever.
When it comes down to the cliche,
They, them, sure.
the cliche weekend warrior bullshit, you know, and I call 2 weeks, it's still to me weekend warrior.
Yeah,
if you
sure.
think about it.
Totally.
When you'd fucking do something for real and you're out there for 6 months to all year and you might get, 4 weeks at home, that's where it really starts to take its toll.
Yeah.
And that's where I've had my own issues in the past where I kind of get homesick sometimes, you know what I mean?
Well, when things are rough for like multiple days and then the social interactions are kind of all affected by that because everybody's compounded by these, kind of states that you're in if you're in the United states, for lack of a better term.
Right, yeah.
It's not a pun. That all compounds and kind of builds up and multiplies. And then you're in, by the 4th day, you're in this place with, 2 or 3, 4 other people. And everybody feels, I think you could probably look at each other's eyes and see that you feel the same way.
How does that equate to being in different countries, though?
Well, I've only toured Europe once, and we just went to the UK. We were there for, I think, 2 weeks. It wasn't that big of a deal. For us, England was so wild and different that we didn't actually have those problems.
Right. It's probably a good time all around.
It was great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
Me too.
this is really where I lack experience.
Right.
I've only toured the United States once, and then of course the West Coast a bunch of times.
So if there was anywhere that you could tour, and if you were to tour, what country would that be and why?
There's really no way for me to answer that.
I understand that, yeah.
For nostalgia purposes, I'd like to go back to the UK with a nice tour.
Right.
But to be honest, if just from seeing things on the internet and like Discog or Discovery Channel things, I would probably choose Ireland because I'm Irish and I'm some Native American, but I'm mostly Irish. So that would be cool. That'd be cool. I don't know. Why not? Check them out. They seem to drink a lot. They like potatoes and steak, so let's go. That's kind of my shit.
I love it when these fuckers try to call me a fucking potato eater. They call me a potato eater. I fucking love potatoes. Oh, you're trying to fucking insult me? I fucking love it. Bring it right here. Put all the bangers and mash right on the fucking table. I like it.
You got that accent down, bud. You got that accent down. But Ireland would be cool.
It's fun over there. I've had three tours over there, and I'm not
3?
Yeah, 3.
Get out of here.
Tour with the band.
Was that great?
2 with the tour. 2 times on tour with the band, and 1 time on holiday, as they put it, or vacation.
I actually think I have that guy that was your recipient on
Rory
my
Cook.
Yeah, he's on my Facebook.
That's my boy,
I added
man.
him because you kept talking about him. I'm like, I gotta add this guy. I don't ever see him in my Facebook feed anymore.
He's 6'8", salt of the earth, and he's an asshole.
6'8"?
6'8", man.
Jesus.
He's a big motherfucker.
Holy Irish giant.
Oh, you should see when him and I wrestled in fucking Waterford. I thought I had him,
probably
dude.
broke you.
Oh, he put me in a fucking chokehold.
Yeah.
And I lifted him straight up in the fucking air. And I pounded right to the ground, and it just made the clinch even tighter.
Oh.
I tapped out like a little bitch.
Yeah, I would have too. I'm not a fighter guy. I mean,
yeah.
I like to
think I am.
I like to
Yeah.
wrestle and fight, but I'm not good at it.
I'm too old for the shit, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but it doesn't ever it doesn't really ever. It's never bothered me to get my ass kicked. I don't really care.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. You know what I mean?
You know, you get punched, and you know, I've got knocked out twice. I think one of them was by you. But, yeah.
There was another time that you you got me really good one time, dude.
Well, I pulled your hair out. I had huge clumps of hair.
Meanwhile, I shaved my head afterwards. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's all
So
good.
let me ask you about this.
What's up, dog?
One of my favorite things about you is your uplifted spirit, and I know it's a battle for a lot of us. That, you know, at least for myself, I have my own personal issues, and it's an ebb and flow
Bless you, bud.
of the feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the
Well,
thing,
I mean-
what really makes you feel good about the music and the people that you help? And is it always like that, or is it an ebb and flow type thing for you too?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is this: like, when it comes to me, I usually repair myself in private. You know, because I do a lot of damage to myself. Sometimes dumbass mental things. Sometimes drinking too much. Maybe I just like a really big burrito and then I gotta take a nap. I mean, whatever.
I can
sometimes-
relate to that all day long.
Sometimes I gotta just take my time. You know.
Right.
I am thankful that my lifestyle allows that because I remember what it was like to work, 50 hours a week, and boy, there was no time for that.
No.
It really does wear you down. But what allows me to do the music? Well, at this point, I would say that the endeavors that I've involved myself with have deadlines, and those deadlines must be met.
Absolutely.
And nobody's enforcing that.
And what's the importance
But
about making a deadline, by the way?
The importance of making a deadline is the fact that when you tell somebody something, you have to do that thing. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's it. This is going to be out this time. And they're like, their expectation is set
How's it going to reflect on you if you don't make that deadline?
very poorly, terribly,
People are not going to
detrimentally. Like if you're into business, like that will actually destroy you off the muscle. You're done. So.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just kind of how that works. But what inspires me at this point with music, it's the same thing that's always inspired me. Sometimes, what makes me tick when it comes to writing music, and I'll kind of branch out a little bit, but I'll come right back
Please,
to the root
yeah,
of what
absolutely.
you said.
Love to hear it.
Is usually when I'm bored and I'm pretty fucking distraught about something, or just being a person, I'm just like in a bad, shitty mood. I can usually put that into a song and get it out of my brain or body. And then that becomes something that I can sit there and listen to and go, man, that's awesome. And that makes me feel a lot better. So that's pretty therapeutic and, pretty cathartic. So I'm into that. But when it comes to the business side of it, I mean, at this point with Bridge, it's just about making sure that not only that I get things done on time, but I have to get things done on time that people sign off on. There isn't a single band that I've ever done in that place that hasn't signed off with a check of approval from every band member that loves what we did.
Right.
And if they didn't, we would redo it or refund them money.
You guys stand by your product.
Fuck yeah,
You guys
dude.
stand by your name.
This is gold standard shit.
That right there, that's a solid freaking entity right there, and mad respect. I
Wow.
love that. That's awesome. And you've
Yep.
been like that as a person. My whole life, I've watched you. Not my whole life, but
Well, pretty close.
I met you when I was
about
17.
Half of it, at least.
I think it was like 17 or 18
Yeah,
years
a
old.
little
I was
more
hanging
than
out with my
half.
buddy Chris Williams, and that's why I met you back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
But you've always had this existential reason to provide a service that you just can't get from just anybody.
Sure.
You stand by your work. You try hard.
Well, once you meet a musician and you get to like gel with them a little bit and you kind of see what they're about,
Yeah.
like back in the day, I would be a pretty quick study and like size people up, not necessarily for any it's a bad term, size up. More like survey what they do and kind
Well
of
put.
get an understanding
Right.
of what they're capable of.
Right.
and the appreciation for some musicians would go there. But either way, if they hired me for a service or just wanted my help or just wanted to talk, I'd be there to do that, and that's okay. The money's, bad business people don't care about money.
Right.
Good business people definitely do.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle.
It's kind of like a tattoo.
I kind of ride the line because it's like.
Do you want a good tattoo or a bad tattoo?
I do care about money. So when it comes to actual business practices, I do care about that.
Absolutely, it's part of business.
But I might waive my own paycheck just to make sure that somebody else gets what they need if I think they're worthy of it.
I've watched you. You've done that for a lot of people.
Sure,
And
yeah.
It's amazing. While most people will sit there.
I'm happy to do it sometimes.
Right.
It's like, oh man, you can't afford it. Well, you're so sick though. Let's come on. I got you.
What's your favorite food? What do you like to eat? What do you like to eat, dude?
Man, I am hella basic, dude.
You be both, man. I feel like I just haven't experienced enough to really.
I'm gonna ask you a question for the first time in this one.
Absolutely, please.
So mine is cheeseburgers or pizza. What is your favorite? I'll tell you mine after you tell me.
Oh boy, American barbecue. It's not even just the fact of the food.
No, if you had to choose between those two, though.
Between what you?
Cheeseburgers or pizza. Ooh. Oh, which one wins? That's a tough race.
That's a really
because it's
tough
bread,
question.
meat, cheese, and sauce on both sides.
Can we do a cheeseburger pizza?
Those are gross. Those aren't even. It's ketchup on it. That's bullshit.
To be honest with you,
The best cheeseburger you've ever had versus the best pizza you've
I've
ever
had a lot of pizza in my life. And
Well,
pizza,
who hasn't, yeah.
it pretty much is pretty standard all the way around.
Yeah.
Any way you slice it, no pun intended.
Sure.
But
shit.
ding, ding, ding.
Give it up, Tom.
Yeah, boy.
Give it up.
Up high.
Yeah.
But there's something about a cheeseburger I could really mess with, and I could put all sorts of good stuff on
I
that.
feel like a cheeseburger destroyer.
Sounds like a song. That's a band name right there. Cheeseburger
I'm
Destroyer.
sure Jack Black already wrote it. Yeah, honestly, like I love pizza.
Yeah,
Who
me
doesn't
too.
love pizza?
Of course,
But
yeah.
cheeseburgers, I'm a little bit more passionate about.
I would actually have to agree
But your
with you
shit
on
is
that.
barbecue?
Yeah. Barbecue would be
What cut is your jam? And what brand?
tri-tip.
Tri-tip is like shit. What?
I love making the
What?
well, here's the thing. I like to not only smoke it, but I like to saute.
It has no fat content.
Oh, I love it.
It's all protein.
I know. And the thing is, for me, the reason why I really like barbecue,
Yeah, well, yeah.
it's not just the food and the flavor.
Yeah.
It's the whole ritual around it. The people that you're taking care of, the people that show up that you're trying to provide a service to in a food sense, you you host.
Are you talking? This is about hosting now.
Well,
You're
it's
branching off too much.
Well,
So
hold on a
you like barbecue, you like tri-tip. Can we finish this?
well, hold on a second.
Uh,
I like the flavor even more because I like to provide that flavor for other people. So
Oh,
when
well,
I
yeah,
see when they actually are like, holy shit,
When you taste it as the chef and you're like, I'm going to put this out to the people.
and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, sure.
it even tastes even better to
Yeah,
me.
because they love it.
Exactly.
And you're like, damn, I did kill this.
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
So that's where I
That's
like
kind of
barbecue.
music too, like a little bit.
Absolutely. Fucking A, man.
Okay, so that's my answer. My answer is cheeseburger.
I got to go with cheeseburger on that one as well.
Fucking
man.
God,
You know what I
dude.
mean?
It's
Oh,
so
dude.
it's just so damn satisfying. Even a bad one's pretty good.
If it was one or the other for the rest of my life, yeah, dude, cheeseburger.
Yeah,
I'm going with that, dude.
Pretty good.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, what are we
let's
looking-
wrap it up, bud.
What
You
are we
wanna wrap
doing on time right now?
We're looking at 43 minutes.
Beautiful. That was a great first run.
Yeah.
And right now, at this point, I would like to ask you, what's going on in your life? What would you like to see happen? And can you promote yourself a little bit and tell me what's going on
Sure.
in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me just Google me at ChrisFinster, Chris Finster. You can find any endeavor that I'm doing on that. Mostly it's going to be YouTube, but some will be other things like SoundCloud and Bandcamp and stuff like this. If you want to add me, go ahead. At Instagram, I'm Nomadic Existence 77. So thanks for that. Beyond that, I'm just sitting in Portland like I've always have been, and just trying to make sure that everything comes across my desk musically sounds the best it can. That's my endeavor with Bridge City Sessions right now, and that I might just diversify to a few other things soon. Shout out to Orange, shout out to Warm Audio, and all my sponsors. I appreciate you guys, and shout out to Bobby And thanks for doing this podcast with me. Appreciate
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. You're one of my best friends. I hope to
yeah.
see you and have you on here again. And
Hell yeah.
hey, guys, this is Chris Finster. This is beautiful Bobby Thomas, and it's been a while since we got to hang out and talk. I hope
Yeah,
you guys,
it's been good.
I hope you guys got to enjoy this. We got many more to come, and until next time,
Mark's in the back.
fuck that guy. Cheers.
No, that guy's cool.
I love that guy, dude.
What are you drinking, fool?
Paps. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and cheers. Have a good night. Be safe. Be good. Treat your family well. Do good things. We'll talk to you later. Have a good night.